Hello guys and welcome to today's yoga class. So this is a legs and bums focus class. Now really that's what most of yoga is, so don't be thinking it's something particularly different. We're just going to be focusing on the strength and the stretch into the main muscles of the legs. If anyone's taken my classes before, you'll probably know I'm quite anatomical as it is. It's just that's what my knowledge base is. I talk about the muscles, so hopefully I won't be saying things that don't make sense to you. I'm sure it will all become clear. If you have a yoga block, it would be useful for this class for one in particular, balancing pose. Don't worry if you don't have one. It'll just mean that you probably need to leave your leg a little bit more bent, which will probably mean you have to work a little harder, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, Benny's off. You go on your sofa, Benny. So we're going to come to start into child's pose. So knees to go a little wider than your hips. Sit your bum onto your heels and then walk your hands away from you until your forehead comes to rest onto the mat. Allow yourself to close your eyes and give your body a moment to settle here, to become still. And just starting to pay attention to the body and how it feels on the mat. Feeling the palms and the elbows resting down. Feeling the tops of the feet and the knees down against the mat. Maybe the belly rests onto the thighs. Bringing your attention to your breathing. Take a deep breath in. Feel that expanse. And a slow breath out. Again, breathing in and feel that doming of the spine. Make that space for your breath. And use the exhale to encourage the body to relax, to calm, to settle and to soften. Good, again to breathing in and breathing out. Great, we're going to rise our way up onto all fours. Just narrow your knees slightly to come back underneath your hips. Moving through some cat and cow. As you breathe in, dip the ribs down to the mat, lift the chest, look forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathing out to hollow out the belly, rounding the upper back, chin to the chest. Again, breathing in, lift through the chest, pull the mat back towards you. Breathing out as you press it away, strong and straight through the arms. Great, last one like this. Breathe in, scoop that chest. And breathe out to hollow as you round the back, press the spine to the sky. And then draw yourself back to neutral, keeping your gaze down towards your fingers, towards your hands. We're going to find some movement with the right leg. So keeping the knee bent the whole time. Breathing in, again, lift the chest and the toes towards the sky. Think of squeezing your right glutes. As you exhale, knee to nose, see if you can tap the two together. This time as you inhale, sweep the knee out to the side. Think of cocking the leg up and out to one side, toward your right side, and then exhale to draw the knee back to the nose. Inhale, toes to the sky, lift the chest, look forwards. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, sweep the knee to the side, keep the body facing down. Exhale, knee to nose. Good, again, breathing in, keep that right glute working, squeeze. Exhale, find the little tap or just get as close as you can. Inhale to go to the right side. And exhale for a final tap. Good, take one last round, breathing in. Breathing out. And then inhale, sweeping it wide to the right. And exhale to draw it under. Good, hopefully you can start to feel that muscle burning. Now, right toes, reach them towards the sky. Lift your chest, look forwards. Taking your left hand and see if you can find that foot behind your back. Kick the foot to the sky for your tiger pose. Now, this will feel hard. The muscles are already tired. So kick. I say tired. They're already activated, let's say. We've got more to give. Keep lifting your chest. Strong through that back leg, breathing in. And then breathing out, place the knee down. Sit yourself back onto your heels. Let those legs have a little moment's rest. Interlace the hands behind you. Breathing in, draw the fists down towards the floor. Lift the chest, lift the chin away from the chest as you puff the front of the body tall. And then breathing out to release, come to wrap your right arm on top of your left. Either back to the hands to meet, or you can come to eagle bind with the palms together, or give yourself a big hug if none of those are working for you. Lift the fingertips to the sky, drop your chin to your chest, and feel that broadness between your shoulder blades. Breathing in. And then release as you breathe out. Bringing your hands to the mat, fingertips in line with kneecaps. Stay onto the tops of your feet. Don't tuck your toes under. Round your spine, hollow out your chest and belly. Lift your knees up towards your collarbones. Keep leaning your weight towards your fingertips, using your core to find that lift. Take a deep breath in, keep holding. And then breathing out. Drop the knees back down. We've got a fiery start today, haven't we? Bring your hands back onto the mat. We're going to come to the left leg. So the knee stays bent. Breathing in, toes to the sky, lift your chest, look forwards. Breathing out, knee to nose, or just give them as close a pull together as you can. Inhale, sweep that knee wide to the side. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, toes go up and back, chest lifts. Exhale, go for that tap. Inhale, squeeze those left glutes to help that thigh rise. And exhale, take the tap. Last round, breathing in and breathing out. And then to the side as you inhale and exhale to tap the knee and nose once more. Good. Inhale, send those toes back to the sky. Lift your chest, look forwards. Right hand goes to see if it can take that foot for your tiger pose. If and when you've found that foot, kick the leg to the sky. Lift your chest. Feel that stretch through the front of the right chest. Squeeze the muscles of that leg and kick to the sky nice and strong. Holding here as you breathe in. And then breathing out, let it go. Knees together, sit yourself back onto your heels, interlace those hands behind you again. Breathing in, draw the fists towards the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades together, broaden across your chest. Breathing out, let your left arm come to wrap on top of your right, taking the same bind as before, and then fingertips to the sky. Chin to the chest, feel that stretch along your upper back. Breathing in. And then breathing out to release. We're going to come to the same little drill that we just did. It's prep for Lalasana. This time, once we've had a little hold, we're going to see if we can lift our pelvis all the way to the sky and into a standing forward fold. So start the same way, rounded back, press into the hands, lift the knees towards the collarbones, pause and hold. Press the tops of the feet down, lean towards the fingertips, breathe in. And then keep lifting your hips, see if you can then turn your feet over. Find yourself in a ragdoll fold at the back of the mat. So little bend in your knees that your belly and thigh can rest towards each other. Arms can either dangle or they can cross, or do anything that you like that helps them feel nice and floppy and heavy. And the same applies for your head. Let that dangle, soften out across the face, loosen across the back of the shoulders and the neck. If you want to take a sway, you can take a sway. If you want to take a nod or shake of the head, then go ahead. And then releasing your arms, let your fingertips come to rest onto your shins, relatively high up near your kneecaps. Inhale to halfway rise, so pulling your chest forwards, think of a tabletop shape for your spine. Lift your kneecaps up towards your hips to engage your quads and press your thighs backwards. You're really lengthening your hamstrings here and using the strength in your quads to help that length. Take another deep breath in, keep the shoulders pulling away from the ears. And as you breathe out, soften the knees, come back to your ragdoll fold and your hands to touch the mat. Keep the pelvis lifting high, use the strength in the legs to keep pushing that up to encourage the hamstring stretch. Great, from here, looking to the top of the mat, walk your way out into down dog here. So hands to the top of the mat. If you need to readjust, you can step your feet back a little. If you'd like to take that pedal of the legs that we so commonly do in down dog, even if it's just a habit, then let yourself have your pedal. Think of lengthening all the way from the base of the heel up towards the sit bones as they move in opposite directions. Let those legs become still, and keeping a soft bend in the knees, as I always say, is a nicer place to hold your down dog to help keep the length in the lower back. as well as into the back of the legs. You can take a soft sway of your hips from left to right. So in your dog, imagine you're wagging your tail, hips left to right. You should feel a bit of a side body stretch as you move from left to right. There's no particular alignment here. You're just letting your hips swing one side then the other. And then from here, in your down dog, step your feet together, or pretty much together, nice and close. We're going to start to find some energetic movement in the legs, should I say. Keep pressing back through the hands. I want you to widen your knees as you bend your knees, as if you're going to drop to child's pose, but you're not. You're going to hover just off of the mat. And then press your hips back into the sky, into this closed foot downward facing dog. And again, keep a little bend in those knees. It's even harder with your feet together. Again, bend the knees, send them wide, hover, get as close to the mat as you can, and then press your way back into that down dog. Breathing in. Breathing out. Do 2 more. Inhale, bend the knees, lower, hover. Exhale, press the hips back high. Inhale, bend, hover, keep pressing into those hands. See if you can stay this close to the mat for 1 more breath in. And then breathing out, send it back into down dog. Good. Widen your feet back to a normal down dog width, and then let your feet walk their way into the top of the mat. Ooh, tired little legs. Walk them in, let your feet stay hip distance apart, back into a ragdoll-ish fold, but this time we can take hold of the back of the ankles or the back of the calves and just give ourselves a little pull against the legs. Think of pulling the crown of your head towards the floor to lengthen the body rather than just compress a short body. So pull your chest down towards the mat. Keep lifting your hips nice and high. Keep pulling, breathe in. And then release that pull as you breathe out. Keep a soft bend in your knees, your hands to come to your waist. Chin stays tucked down towards your chest. And then roll your way all the way up to stand. Finding your way upright towards the top of the mat. And letting those shoulders roll back. Take a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. Great, so we've got some funky sort of salutations to move through today. I want you to widen your feet to be about, not quite as wide as your mat, but wider than your hips. And you can always turn your toes out a little bit as well. That's often more comfortable for many of us. With a deep breath in, reach your arms to the sky, gaze up towards them. As you breathe out, squat your hips down and back. Your hands come down in front of your chest. Push your knees wide and keep your chest lifted to stay looking forwards. Hold this active squat, breathe in. And then you're going to place your right hand next to where your right foot was. As you step that right foot back, left arm to the sky. So you're in a nice lunge, twisted lunge, should I say. Turning the chest to face those top fingertips. Press away through that back heel. Keep sinking your hips towards the mat. Breathe in as you hold. Breathing out, place the hand to the mat. Step the foot back as you come into down dog. Take 2 breaths here, lengthening sit bones to the sky. Inhale, pressing the chest back to the thighs. Exhale. 1 more, breathing in and breathing out. Great. With your right leg, inhale as you take it to the sky for a 3-legged dog. On the exhale, step that foot between the hands right to the top of the mat and help it if it's not quite making it by itself. Keep your back knee lifted, press away through your back heel, and then rise your torso away from your thigh. Wobble, wobble, as you come into a high lunge. Keep your front knee as best you can on top of the front ankle. A nice wide stance is best here. Inhale, the hands are going to go to the sky, and we're going to interlace the hands, but keep the palms sort of open. As you breathe in, straighten that front leg. It's wobblier and more balanced pose than you might think. As you breathe out and sink back into the lunge, take the hands to the back of the skull, lift your chin and open your elbows wide. Breathing in, the leg straightens, the arms reach above your head. Exhale, bend into the lunge, squeeze the left glute, open those elbows wide. Again, breathing in to lengthen, to lift. Breathing out, hands to the skull, knee bends, back heel presses away from you. Hold here this time. Take a deep breath in. Think of lifting your rib cage away from your hips. And then exhale, hands to come down to the mat. Step the foot back and into down dog. Give those legs a little rest. Inhale as you hold. And exhale. Great, same leg again, right leg, inhale, lift it tall. On the exhale, see if you can tap your knee to your nose on the way under, a little bit harder when you're in plank, and then place that foot back at the top of the mat. Now we're not going to hold it for long, so try not to curse me. We're going to come into a warrior 3 on this front right leg. So hands are going to come in front of our chest. I'm shifting my weight into this front right leg. It's working very hard. Take a little pop of the back leg off of the mat and reach the chest forwards. If you'd like to make life harder, reach your arms alongside your ears towards out beyond your mat. Keep pressing away through your back heel. Good, come on right leg, you can do it. Breathe in. And then come to stand nice and tall. Breathing out, place your foot back down on the mat. Well done right leg. Let's come to move the sequence to the left side. So widen your feet, wider than your hips. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, sink the hips back, drive the knees wide, hands in front of your chest. Chest stays lifted, looking forwards. Holding here, breathing in. And then breathe out, left hand goes next to where your left foot currently is. Step that left foot back as your right arm turns to the sky, twisted lunge. Press the back heel away from you, keep driving the hips down towards the mat. Inhale. And then exhale, hand comes to the floor, foot steps back and into down dog. 2 breaths, inhale. Exhale. Use these little pauses in down dog to try and slow the breath. And then left leg. Inhale, send it to the sky. 3-legged dog. Exhale, stepping it forwards between the hands, give it the help it needs to. We want a nice long stride here. Front knee on top of front ankle. Inhale, rise your way away from your thigh as you come into your lunge. Hands go above the head, interlace the fingers. Breathing in, straighten both legs, squeeze your quads. Breathing out, sink into the lunge, hands come behind the skull, lift the chin, open the elbows. Breathing in, lengthen, tall. Breathing out, sink forwards and down, press through that back heel. Breathing in, lengthen. And then breathing out, squeeze those right glutes, leaning a little forwards. Good, last one, breathing in, straighten. And then as you lunge forwards, hold for a moment, find that squeeze through your shoulder blades, focus on your upper body if you need to distract you. And then exhale, hands to come down to the mat, foot steps back into down dog. Let this moment be somewhere to deepen and slow the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Great, keep moving. Left leg, inhale to the sky. Exhale, this time, see if your knee and nose can tap one another underneath the body before stepping that foot back to the top of the mat. This time we're coming to our warrior 3 transition. So keep the weight into the front leg. Hands come in front of your chest, you're already leaning forwards. Take a little hop of that back leg to see if you can come to find some balance. Pelvis and chest stay facing the floor. Option to extend your arms overhead if you'd like to make life harder. Feel that left leg really have to work here. It's not easy. Breathe in. And then breathing out. Place the foot onto the mat. Give your legs a little wiggle, a congratulatory wiggle if you need to. And then stand yourself tall. Focus on a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. Great. Step those feet back wider, moving on to something a little different. Breathe in, the hands go to the sky. Breathing out, come back to that active squat. So hips push back, chest is forwards. Think of the shoulder blades pinning together behind you. Holding here, breathing in. As you breathe out, place your hands to the mat. Right foot steps back, lower down onto that back knee and untuck the back toe. So it's the top of the foot that's now on the mat. As you inhale, lift your torso away from your thigh. Think of driving your hips forwards and down as your chest stays lifted. Your hands either to your waist or you can just rest them onto your front thigh. We'll give our arms a rest. Squeeze through your right glutes, and that's a way to help stretch the front of the right hip. But then we're just going to make things a little bit juicier because why not? So with that top foot that's against the mat there, I want you to press it down and see if you can float your knee off the mat for 3, 2, 1, and rest it back down. I'm sure you can feel that feels long enough. Right hand is going to come down to the mat. With a deep breath in, left arm is going to go all the way up and over as you bend the back knee and see if you can take the bind hand to hold that left foot. From there, drawing the heel in towards you. Your front leg, you can let the knee flop away from the body, so roll the foot onto the outer edge. And if you've got more to give here in terms of flexibility, you can drop the elbow while still encouraging that heel in towards your bum. Keep the body turning, twisting towards the left side. Breathing out to keep sinking through the hips. One more, breathing in. And then breathing out, letting that foot go, both hands down onto the mat. Step this front foot back and into downward facing dog. 2 breaths, inhale. Exhale. Last one. Good, with the left leg this time, inhale to lift it to the sky. Straight and strong, think of it as a right hamstring stretch. On the exhale, this time the foot's going to step right into the centre of the mat between the hands. So again, as I always yabber on about, as if there was a tightrope down the middle of your mat, drop your back heel down so that the arch of the back foot is on that tightrope, and then windmill your arms up and into your warrior 2. The wider your stance, the wider your feet, the more challenging this will be for your strength and your flexibility. So you can widen if you want to, you can narrow if you want to. Front knee on top of front ankle, think of the knee pushing towards the left side of your mat and root down through the little toe of your back foot. Send your arms wide alongside the shoulders with the palms facing down and your gaze to your front fingertips. Keep breathing, keep tucking the tailbone under, finding that stretch through the front of the right hip, sinking a little deeper into that left leg. Great, breathing in. Now we're moving into a balance pose. Those that will have perhaps slightly shorter hamstrings might want to use a block. We're going to transfer our weight forwards, just like we did for Warrior 3, this time coming into a half moon. So the left fingertips come to find the floor. We keep the pelvis facing open towards the right side, so stack the right hip on top of the left, and the right arm can maybe go to the sky if you have your balance here. So if you have your block, you can place that under your fingertips. If you don't, you can keep your left knee a little bit more bent. Just means it's going to be a bit more challenging for your quad strength there. Keep holding. Take a deep breath in. And then we're going to see if we can come all the way up to stand as we place that right foot down onto the mat behind us. Perhaps it didn't work quite the way that mine did, but you've got a second chance on the other side in a moment. From here, widen your toes away from one another. So toes are going to point out in opposite directions. Just like that active squat, think of sinking your hips behind you as your knees drive wide. Take your hands to your inner thighs and just give them a little encouragement in the way that you want them to go behind you. And think of your inner arches of your feet lifting as you press down through the little toe edge of your foot. Keep your hips nice and low, left fingertips to the floor, breathing in, send your right arm to the sky into a twist. Breathing out, switching sides, right fingertips down, inhale, left arm to the sky. Twisting, turning that chest, and then both fingertips down to the mat. Bring your hands in front of your chest, lift your chest to look forwards, keep driving those knees away from one another, and then rise your way all the way up to stand. Turn your body to face the front of the mat. Have a little shuffle of your feet so that now all toes are pointing pretty much forwards, but the foot, one foot is on the left side, one foot is on the right. We've come off our tightrope and onto our train tracks. Squeeze hold of your left quad. Think of the kneecap pulling up towards the hip. The hands to come behind you to hold onto your own forearms. Maybe you can go so far as to find your own elbows. Breathing in, lift your chest, lengthen the front of the body. And then breathing out, think of sending your chest forwards. Your gaze comes down towards your big toe for your pyramid pose. Think of the left sit bone moving a little backwards, right sit bone coming a little forwards as you allow yourself to fold as much or as little as you need to get that stretch in your left hamstring. All the while trying to keep a nice long spine. So instead of trying to get as close to your leg as you can, try to get as far forwards as you can. Keep pulling your chest out long. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good, one more, inhale. And then release your elbows, hands to your waist. Draw your body all the way up to stand. And then see if you can just step forwards, draw your right knee in towards your chest. Give the shin a little squeeze. Pull the knee nice and high up towards the chest. Shoulder blades pinch together. An easy standing balance in comparison to the other two that we've just done. And then step your foot back down. So we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. Don't worry if you don't remember it. That is what I'm here for. So step your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Turn your toes a little bit outwards. Breathing in, reach the arms to the sky. Breathing out, active squat. Hips push back, hands in front of the chest. Keep your chest lifted, look forwards. Push your bum out behind you. Take a deep breath in. And then breathing out, place your hands on the floor. Your left foot to step to the back of the mat. Drop the knee down to the floor and place the top of the foot onto the mat. If you want to just readjust your front foot, then do go ahead. Then lifting your torso away from the thigh, finding this hip stretch to begin with. Squeeze your left glutes, hands either to your waist or to your thigh. Think of your chest lifting as you lengthen this front left hip, keeping your glutes and your lower back muscles nice and firm. Now, as if this wasn't hard enough, we're going to make sure we've got the top of the foot against the mat behind us. Press the top of the foot down, float that knee away from the mat and hold here for 3, for 2, for 1, and then place it back down onto the mat. Left hand to come to the floor. Take a nice deep breath in, right arm goes all the way up and over to see if it can find those toes behind you, and you can use straps or whatever. And if you can't, have the foot, and if it's too uncomfortable, just leave this bind part out. The front foot, the knee, rolls away from you so that the foot rolls onto its side. And as before, if you have the availability to drop the elbow, you are very welcome to take that. Keep drawing your heel nice and close to your bum. Keep turning your chest, stay broad across the front of the body. Breathing in. Breathing out. Great, last one, inhale. And then letting that foot go. Exhale, both hands down to the floor. Step your front foot back to meet your back foot, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Final one. Great, right leg this time. Inhale to the sky, 3-legged dog. Really pull the toes tall. On the exhale, you're going to step that foot right between the hands. Find your tightrope for this first one. The back heel drops down so the toes point out to the left. Windmill your hands tall, find your warrior 2. And if you want to adjust the distance between your feet for your own challenge, or just to adjust what feels best for you, then go ahead. Press down through the little toe edge of that back foot. Keep the tailbone tucked under to help you keep length through the front side of the left hip. Draw this front knee wide towards the right side of your mat and keep those arms nice and strong. We keep holding to breathe in. Keep holding, breathe out. Good, guys, stay with it. Another deep breath in. Breathing out. So from here, we're going to transition to our half moon. Have your block in your right hand if you're using your block. So lean the weight into this front right leg. You can always shuffle your back foot in if you need a fighting chance. Transition the weight onto that right leg. Right fingertips come to the floor or to your block. Keep a bend in the knee if you need to. Keep the pelvis facing that left side. The chest faces left as well. Option for the left arm to reach to the sky. Squeeze these left glutes to help the leg lift. And surprisingly, the higher that you lift the leg, actually the easier the balance becomes. Let that motivate you. And breathe in as you hold here. And then we're going to see, as before, if you can lift the hand, come to stand, and then place that left foot to the mat. I'm going to turn around just so I've not got my back to you. So toes, again, are going to face out, away from one another. Have your feet not too wide apart. Think of squeezing hold of your quads, breathing in, send your arms to the sky.
Breathing out, sink your hips back, drive those knees wide, and again, you can take your hands and give them a bit of encouragement of where you want them to go. You can keep your chest a little bit more facing the floor for this one, and you can keep your hands on your thighs to encourage that opening. From here, take a look at your right foot and see if you can lift your heel off of the mat, so come right up onto the ball of the foot. You can then drop that down, look at the left and see if it's going to do the same thing. Lift the heel, keep it as high away from the mat as you can. Come back towards center and then see if you can do both feet at the same time. So pull your heels off the mat. It becomes very wobbly, balance pose, as well as strength into the legs. Keep your hips pushing back, your chest pushing down, facing down, and your hands pushing your knees wider. Good, keep holding it, breathe in. And then let the heels rest down. Stand your way up tall. Turn yourself back to face the front of the mat. So it'll now be your right foot. I just had to make sure I had the right side there. Find those train track feet. So one on the left, one on the right, pelvis faces forwards. Hands go behind you to find forearms or elbows. And then as you breathe in, lift your chest, squeeze that right quad. As you breathe out, keep the length in your body to go forwards. The gaze goes down so the neck stays in line with the rest of the spine. Your right sit bone pushes a little backwards. The left side of your hip pulls a little forwards to keep you straight. Lengthening through the chest, breathe in. Keep squeezing the belly towards the thigh, breathing out. Great, one more inhale. And exhale. A nice strong inhale draws you all the way up to stand. Coming for what is definitely a little bit of an easier balance pose. See if you can find the transition into it. So a little step of that back leg, knee in towards the chest. Give it a little squeeze, knee towards chest. And then placing it back down to the mat. Maybe just give yourself a moment of stillness. If you want to close your eyes, close your eyes. Feel yourself breathe in and fill the lungs. And take a deep breath out, letting go of any frustrations or need to just let go a little there. With your next inhale, the arms go back to the sky, gaze up towards the fingertips. On the exhale, forward fold over the legs. Let your fingertips come to the floor, press your hips to the sky, belly and thigh nice and close together. Keep your head nice and loose, allow yourself to pause in the fold here, finding that length in the back of the legs. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Place the hands down, step the feet to the back of the mat, hips into the sky for your down dog. Think of the thighs pressing back, open up through the armpits. Inhale. And then exhale, drop your knees to the mat. You can keep them about hip distance apart. Tops of the feet go down, come into child's pose for a moment. I feel it's a well-deserved moment to just allow everything to slow down. A little pause, a little rest. Allow your breath to become a little elongated. See if you can make it last just a moment longer on the way in. Matching it on the way out. Again, breathing in. And breathing out. Great, you can then press your way up towards tabletop. Just tuck your toes under behind you. Stay onto the balls of the feet as you walk yourself back. So you should be at the back of the mat into a little froggy squat. Sorry, I can't see. Froggy squat. So the knees are wider than the hips, but we're not quite sunk into our full malasana. So we're going to just have a fun little drill, I say fun, my version of fun, to hop our way to the top of the mat. We call them froggy jumps because I guess we're into a little froggy squat. So what we want to do is reach our hands forwards, so quite far in front of our feet, send the weight towards the hands as we clap our feet together in the sky and see if we can come and land closer to our feet, our wrists back into a little froggy squat. Then you go again, your hands reach forwards, pop your hips high, see if your feet can clap and come back into the froggy squat. Depending on how far you jump will depend on if you can do 3 or 4 hops. You can give yourself another couple of goes if you like. Find yourself towards the top of the mat. Widen your feet to be able to attempt to get the heels down. Don't worry if you can't. You can keep your feet at a place where you keep the heels lifted. Pause for a moment in your Malasana. Lift through your chest. Let your elbows drive your thighs wider as you take a nice few breaths in. Great. With an inhale, you're going to drive into the feet to come all the way up to stand. Arms reach up and overhead. And as you exhale, release your hands by your sides, step your feet together, maybe readjust your mat if it's got a mind of its own. So I feel like it wouldn't be a yoga class for legs if it didn't have a chair pose in it, but I realise our legs are tired. Don't worry, we're not staying in it for long. Don't hate me. With a nice deep breath in, sweep your arms to the sky, press your hips back, pull your knees together in this one. So it's like that squat, but the legs are narrow. It's very different. Keep your gaze up between your hands, breathing in. And then breathing out, hands to come in front of your chest. Hook your left elbow around your right thigh as you twist to look over your right shoulder. You might want to stay looking a little closer to the floor because we're about to make it into a balance pose. Keep pressing the elbow against the thigh. Take your weight into that right foot and see if you can pull your left heel towards your bum into a little balancing twist. Yeah, that makes your right leg work. Holding here, breathe in. And then see if you can step that foot to the back of the mat to drop the knee down and ta-da, find yourself into a twisted lunge. If that didn't quite work, let that leg find where it wants to be, into the lunge, then come back into your twist, looking over that right shoulder. Holding here, lift your chest, inhale. And then exhale, undo your twist, lift your torso up, your front knee or front leg steps back so that you're kneeling towards the back line of your mat. From there, toes are going to tuck under behind you. Make sure your feet are relatively wide so knees aren't together. We're coming into Camel Pose, and I want you to think of Camel Pose as a strengthening pose for your hamstrings, your glutes and your lower back. So all of these muscles are going to work hard for it. Hands to come to your waist, just below your rib cage. As you breathe in, think of lifting your rib cage to the sky. Start to squeeze your glute muscles, push your hips a little forwards, turn your chest to face the sky, and if you're comfortable, if you're okay to, your hands can come to find your heels behind you. We want to keep the hips pushing forwards as the chest puffs to the sky, and you can choose to drop your head back if you wish, but I cannot talk when I do that, so I'll keep my chin to my chest. Breathe into the belly and expand your front body. Breathing out. Good, hold, stay here, one more, inhale. And then exhale, hands come back to your waist, strong core. Draw your body upright, untuck the toes, sit your bum back to your heels, walk your hands away, nice and slowly, as you come back to child's pose. And back to those few breaths to allow you to recenter, to refuel, and to breathe. Great, walk your hands in towards you, tuck those toes under. So we'll come for one more little round of our frog jumps. So these are obviously a little handstand drill, and give them a go, you don't have to listen to me, but what you want to, you never have to listen to me, what you want to think of doing is bringing your shoulders from back here to right on top of your wrists, so that's where we want to go, and we want to send our hips up as well, and it's always the scary part is to send those hips up, but we grab hold of the floor as if we're holding onto a chunk of sand and trying to find that transfer of weight out of the legs and into the hands. So reach forwards, hop the hips to the sky and see if you can land as lightly as you can. Reach those hands forwards, hop, tap, landing. Maybe you've got one or two more in you. Go again. And landing at the top of your mat. Once you're there, you can widen those feet or just readjust your feet to allow your malasana, your yogi squat, to be accessible to you. Think of pulling your chest tall to lengthen out your spine, hips nice and heavy towards your heels. From here, strong legs, inhale, rise your way up to stand, arms up and overhead, and then exhale, release your hands by your sides. Great, step your feet back together And luckily we only have 2 sides, so there's only 1 more chair to come on the other side. So feet are together. Remember, we want to try and keep the knees squeezing in towards each other. Breathing in, sink the hips back, lift the chest. The weight should be into the heels of your feet. You should be able to wiggle your toes. Inhale to hold. Exhale, hands come in front of your chest, right elbow to the outside the left thigh as you twist and look over your left shoulder. Keep the 2 knobbly bits of your knees together, squaring out through the pelvis. Take the weight towards the left foot. Whoop. See if your right heel can pull towards your bum. See if you can hold it just for a moment. And then take a big stride back with that foot. Drop the knee down to the floor. Find yourself into the twisted lunge. And if you need to rearrange, come to a lunge with the left leg at the front and then twist the elbow around the thigh from there. Lengthen the chest forwards, breathing in. Twisting as you draw the belly in, breathing out. Last one. And then exhale, undo the twist. Draw yourself upright, front foot steps back as we come to camel for the second time. So if you have a more advanced practice and you have more advanced variations here, then now is a good time to take them. We're going to move in the same way that we just did. So hands to the waist, squeezing through the glutes. Think of tucking the tailbone as if you're trying to flatten out this front end of the body. Breathing in, lift your rib cage tall. Breathing out, squeeze your shoulder blades together, turn your chest to the sky, squeeze your lower back, and option for the hands to release to the heels as you keep your chest moving towards the sky. Breathe steadily here, focus, inhale. Exhale. Stay calm across the face, last one. And then let your hands come back to your waist. Think of bracing through your core to lift your torso up. Sit your bum down to your heels and then slowly let your hands walk away from you as you come down to child's pose. Again, allowing everything to slow a little. Allow everything to feel calm for a moment. Slowing the breath, deepening the breath. Great, and then rise your way up towards tabletop from here. Don't worry guys, we're slowing the pace now. Hands are going to come to the top of the mat. That being said, I am going to get you just to move into a plank pose for a moment. So tuck your toes, press your heels backwards. We're coming into pigeon on the left side. So left knee just behind your left wrist. Drop your back knee down. Wriggle the back leg away from you until you get that stretch into your outer left hip, and you can choose to stay on the hands, you can choose to go to the forearms, or you can choose to extend your arms and let your forehead rest onto the mat. Keeping a bit of engagement into the stretches. I know the muscles are tired and we want to just sink, but see if you can give a little bit of activation to this hip stretch by giving your front shin a gentle push down into the floor. It doesn't have to be the most effortful thing you've ever done, but giving it that little press down keeps that outer hip muscle working, making that stretch feel a little bit more intense. Keeping the chest pulling forwards, breathing in, staying soft across the face, easing into it, breathing out. Okay, last one. And then coming back up onto the hands. We're going to let our bum sit off towards the left side so the back leg can swing round to the top of the mat. The right leg is now straight out in front of us, the sole of the left foot to the inner of the right thigh. Keep those right toes up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, grow as tall as you can, pull your arms to the sky. Keep that length as you exhale and fold over this right leg. Keep that left knee nice and floppy and heavy out beside you. And as always, holding the foot is not your priority, but if you can hold it, great. You can use a strap if not, or you can always hold a different part of your leg. What we want to try and focus on is keeping the spine long, Whilst if we're trying to deepen, we're trying to close the gap between belly and thigh rather than just pull our head closer towards our leg. Chest is lengthening forwards, breathing in. Option to deepen as you breathe out. Good. Releasing hold of your foot, sitting yourself tall. Take your left hand out onto the mat behind you. The legs don't have to change. You're going to think of reaching through your right toes. Inhale, lift your bum away from the mat. Take your right arm alongside your ear. Maybe turn your gaze and your chest a little more towards the sky. Open that front right side of the body, breathing in. And then breathing out for your bum to come straight back down where it came from. Take this left leg, step it over to the other side of the right leg. Keep the whole sole of the foot against the floor and make sure both your sit bones are down against the mat as well. You can sit on a block if they're not. Left hand behind you, breathe in, right arm to the sky. Breathing out to hook the elbow around the thigh, or just give it a hug if that's too much for you as you twist and look over the left shoulder. Keep narrowing at the belly to allow the body to turn. Thinking of pushing the knee towards the right side, keeping the left sit bone down to stretch through that glute. Great, breathe in. And then breathing out to come back to face center. Both legs to go straight out in front of us. Knees and toes point to the sky, so if you need to widen your legs a little to make that happen, then do so. Find a bit of engagement through your quads. Inhale, lengthen that lower part of the body. Pull your belly button away from your pelvis. And then exhale to send it forwards. Hands to either hold the feet, or again, other options are available if we've not quite got the flexibility to find the feet. The shoulder blades draw towards each other so the chest can stay nice and proud, trying to avoid that excessive rounding of the back. Giving the back of the thighs a little press down towards the floor. Breathing in and breathing out. Lovely. Sit yourself up nice and tall. Take a simple crossed legs with the right shin in front. Option to deepen. If crossed legs isn't too challenging for your hips, you can widen your feet away from one another and scoot your bum back. Option to take full fire log if you know and have that in your practice where the shins stack on top of one another. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, folding over the legs, allowing your body to try and stay long, pulling a little more forwards. And you can give those feet a little press down into the floor to keep that, as I said before, slightly active stretch, making the muscles stay awake as you stretch them. Good. Inhale here. Exhale. Last one. Good. And then sit yourself up nice and tall. Tuck your heels nice and close to your bum. See if you can roll over those knees or just come around otherwise. And then step back momentarily into your plank so that you can come to pigeon on the other side. So right knee goes behind the right wrist. Make sure you're placing your knee wider than your hip point. That's the whole point of the pose, is an external rotation. The back knee, make sure that faces straight down to the floor, same with the back toes, and it sticks directly out behind you. Everything is on sort of train tracks as before. You can stay on the hands, so you can go to the forearms, or you can slide those hands out and let your forehead rest to the mat. Give this front shin a gentle press down against the floor. Lengthening chest forwards, breathing in. Folding the body against that leg, breathing out. Great, and then walk your hands all the way back in. Sit your bum towards the right side of your mat. Left leg spins around as you keep that leg straight out in front of you. Sorry, I've just got a glimpse of Benny's face. Toes point towards the sky. Knee flops away from you. And again, as you inhale, find that length in the lower back. You're really trying to pull the torso long and then maintain that length as you come forwards and fold over your left leg. Chest forwards, breathing in. Folding against your leg, breathing out. A couple more. And then rise your way up tall. Right hand is going to go behind you onto the mat. Reach through your left toes. Careful if you have a dog on your mat. Lift your hips to the sky. Left arm goes alongside your left ear. And there's the option to take your gaze up there as well, focusing on that left side body lengthening. Take a nice deep breath here. And then breathing out. Sit your bum back down where it came from. This right leg that's off to one side, cross it over the other side. Whole sole of the foot down against the mat. Make sure this right sit bone stays down too. Right hand behind you. Inhale, left arm to the sky. And then exhale to hook the elbow around the leg. As you gaze over the right shoulder, keeping the body as upright as you can, sending a little bit more body weight towards the front of the mat. Inhale, grow taller. Exhale to keep twisting. Great, take your last one here. And then exhale, undo, bring this leg back onto the front. We'll do one more of this same straight-legged fold. Inhale, pulling the body tall. And exhale to fold. Just as when it's with one leg, it's not about how close you can get your head to your legs. You're trying to draw your rib cage out towards your knees and potentially shorten or compress the distance between your belly and your thighs, right at the hip crease. That's the bit to focus on. The chest is pulling forwards as you breathe in. The body compresses as you breathe out. Lovely, then releasing and sitting tall. This time for your cross legs, the left shin comes in front, and again, same options to deepen if you wish, fire log or widening your feet and scooting your bum backwards. Inhale, that length. Exhale to fold. Let your chin fall towards your chest. Let your bum think of scooting towards the back of the mat as your fingertips crawl forwards. A little press of the feet down against the mat, keeping those hips awake. I'm sure they don't feel like they're asleep though, that's for sure. Great, last inhale. And then exhale to walk your hands in, and this time taking your legs out wide into a big V shape. Toes and knees stay pointing towards the sky, and if you need to, just let the fleshy part of your thighs roll inwards, and that again helps with this length in the lower part of the spine. Breathing in, arms reach tall. Breathing out to fold forwards, or perhaps if that's not within your realm of flexibility, you can leave your hands just behind your hips and focus on staying upright or giving yourself a little pitch forwards. Give the backs of the legs a little press down towards the mat. Push away through the heels and flex back through the toes. Same as before, each inhale is finding you length, chest is going forwards. And each exhale is encouraging the body to soften and to fold. Great, releasing out of that stretch, walking in or letting go. Feet onto the mat, knees to be bent. Arms reach forwards alongside the legs, chin to the chest, rounded spine. Use that core strength to roll yourself down onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest once you get there to give yourself a soft little squeeze. Thighs nice and close to your belly, heels nice and close to your bum. Maybe a soft little rock from left to right to feel your lower back be massaged down against the floor. You can then take your knees a little wider, or should I say a lot wider, as wide as you can out towards your armpits. The soles of the feet to face the sky. And as you reach up, finding hold of your heels or your toes or some part of your leg. And if you had to lift your head and your shoulders to reach, see if you can bring them back down onto the floor. Thinking of staying strong through your arms to help those knees bend deeper. The lower back, the hips, stay pushing down towards the mat. And we've got the intention of the toes heading towards the top of the mat, but you'll really feel that into your hamstrings as you do it. So just moving to the point where you've got sensation there, you've realised what we're targeting, but there's no need to force it much further. And then releasing those feet. Let them come to the mat. Soles of the feet face one another as the knees fall wide into a diamond-shaped leg, and your arms can release alongside you. You can choose to close your eyes already, allowing the body to release, to let go a little. And then one leg at a time, allow them to fully extend. Let them go nice and loose and floppy. The same with the arms. Soften across the face and just spend these last few moments completely resting, maintaining a soft focus on your breath and allowing that to calm your mind, calm your body. Just allow everything to feel fully relaxed. And then take a deep breath in. Reach the arms overhead, reach through the toes, full body stretch. And then draw the knees in towards your body. Give yourself a little squeeze. From there, rolling up to a comfortable seated position, sitting yourself nice and tall. Your final inhale circles the arms wide to the sky. And your final exhale to draw your hands to your belly and your chin to your chest. Thanks guys, as always, for joining me. Benny is usually very well behaved. If anyone saw his little cameo there, I hope he was entertaining rather than distracting. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I say that every class. But it is, challenging work, making those leg muscles work. Thanks so much for joining in today. Hopefully you can join me again for another one of my lives soon. I'm sure you all know when they are by now. And as always, if you did find value from the class and you are and you feel able to donate, I'm very appreciative of any contributions via the link that is just below the video. Have a lovely rest of the week, rest of the day, wherever you are.